One of the things I get asked all the time when I go into salons is, how can I raise my prices? It all gets down to your self-worth. What are you worth? This is a huge question. We're just starting a series called The Wealthy Salon, and my name, if you haven't met me before, is Heather Coulis, and I help salons to stand out in their communities, become the authority in their communities by finding their unique position. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button, the notification button, throw me a like because it doesn't cost you a thing and it helps me out a lot. And let's go inside and talk about your self-worth. Hey there. So listen, the only person who can tell you what you're worth is you. And that's kind of the problem, isn't it? So my name's Heather Coulis, and I am a coach, and I help salon owners and stylists to stand out, get heard, and find their unique difference. And that's sort of right where we're starting, is what are you worth? I know that we've all been there. And I got to tell you, in my industry, in the industry of coaching, we call it imposter syndrome. But the reality is we always undervalue what it is that we actually are bringing to the table. I think there's a few things that we just forget about. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today and how we can adjust your thinking. Because the secret to becoming a wealthy stylist or a wealthy salon owner that's able to create traffic and to attract people to yourself is going to be a bunch of small adjustments. But it's all adjustments that's going to be going on in your head. We need to look at things like our perspective and possibility, and it's just a bunch of small nuances. We've all been there before, where you're done doing your color, the client is heading up to the front of the desk, you're heading up to the front of the desk, and in your mind, you already know what you should be charging. Your client has been there for 3 hours, and you went back and you retoned and you did extra. And that's a thing, it's like, I wanted to put that extra gloss on there, but it was my idea, so should I be charging the client? We do this battle in our head incessantly for crazy reasons. It shouldn't be like the whole focus of our lives is trying to get a living out of being an artist, which is what you are. Anyway, I digress. So you're heading up to the front desk and your client's there, and right out of your mouth, like you said, $300, $300, $300, all the way to the till, right out of your mouth, $280. Have you been there? I've been there. And it's even worse when then your client looks at you and says something to you like, oh, is that all? And then you just want to pull out your gun and shoot yourself, because we thought it was going to be a big deal, because we undervalue ourselves. So how do we figure out what it is that we are worth? When you are in the hair industry and you think to yourself, I would never pay $200 to get my hair done, doesn't mean everybody in the world thinks that. I had a guy over fixing my dryer, was making a hell of noise, and I'm thinking, oh, you get the guy in, it's just a big mess, and they look at it, they tell you they need the parts, and next thing you know, you might as well have bought a new dryer. So this guy comes in, and I put out the little shout out on Facebook, don't underestimate Facebook, and this fella, he gets a hold of me and says, oh, I can help you with that. So when he was done, he's like, how much? I'm like, how much do you want? Like, I'm willing to pay the guy anything. It was so convenient. He was so fast. He got the job done. He was so caring. He was so diligent. All of those things that you try so hard to be. And he's like, oh, whatever you want to pay me. I'm like, well, $100? And like, to me, it was worth $100. And he's like, oh, no, he would have never charged me. It wasn't worth $100. Well, it was to me. But I think we undervalue ourselves and what we bring to the table. I know that if you go back to Maslow's 4 laws, and we want to feel appreciated, and we want to feel valued, and we want to feel like we're part of something bigger, and we want to feel all of these things, I don't know. We just fall real short with that. I want you to think about a couple of things that you can do, because the reality is we in this industry are notorious for undercharging, and it really does get back to the value that we put on ourselves. And I want you to remember who you are just now. People can learn how to be electricians. People can learn how to be a plumber. And all of you know that hairdresser who just could not learn to be one of those, because you are an artist and you have enormous value. The people who come to see you, there's a lot of people who can cut hair. So why you? Because you're an artist and what you do is very special. And I know I can say that for forever, and in your mind, you know all of these things, but it doesn't change anything. So I want you to think about your self-worth like a muscle. And the more that you use it, the more you overcome. The first time you raise your prices, the first time you start sort of really putting yourself out there and finding out nobody really cared and they were all okay with it, you'll get stronger and stronger and stronger in it. So be aware that you are worth it. You are totally worth it. And remember how expensive your training was. How much you have put into that. Think about where you were even a year ago, 5 years ago. Like, think how far you come and how every single day, the older you get, the more valuable you are going to get in everything that you do. So I want you to remember how expensive that your training was. I want you to remember how hard you worked to get to where you are and put some value on that. Think about yourself as the artist that you are, and it's going to get a whole lot easier for you to start figuring out what it is that you're worth. Having a lot of conversations right now with salon owners about incorporating their tipping. I have a lot of stylists and they'll say to me, oh, I can't stop tipping. I make as much with my tips as I do with doing my hair. I need my tips. Well, if lots of times the tipping is because, are they tipping you because you're just that amazing? I'm sure that you are. Or are they feeling like they're maybe undercharged, and if you've got your tips are really high, you're undercharging. Just let that sink in. If you get great tips, if your tips are 20-25%, you're undercharging. And actually it makes it very awkward when the guy with the Fix My Dryer tried to undercharge me for fixing my dryer. I was very uncomfortable. Like, it was just like, well, no, so I paid him more than what he wanted from me because there was no equity in it. It didn't seem right. And so if you're getting great tips, raise your prices. I do encourage you all to consider incorporating your tips into your pricing. I think that it does a lot to upvalue your services. You are worth exactly what you say you are worth. And I will tell you this is true. If I come to a new town and I phone around and I'm looking for prices and I get you on the phone and you think that I'm shopping you, like I'm looking for the cheapest haircut in town, I'm not. I just want to know, we don't know the right questions to ask. Like, do you guys do balayage? Of course you're going to say yes or whatever. So I say, oh, how much is it going to be for haircut and I need my roots done or whatever. And you said $30 for a haircut or you said $50 for a haircut. I'd be like, okay, thanks. I'm not getting a $30 haircut. I'm just not going to do it. I'm going for the $50 haircut because I know I'm worth it. So I think that we just need to stop looking at money as an evil thing. It's not. It's nothing wrong with earning a living. You guys spend, it's like $14,000, $15,000, $16,000 for your licenses. You have to go to training all the time to stay up on stuff. Don't feel bad for charging what you're worth and start feeling worth it. Remember who you are. You're an artist and not everybody gets to be that. No, I know lots of hairdressers studied their whole lives. They're still doing crap hair. So look at yourself a little bit differently. Just know that you are worth it. I want you to think about next time, I want you to pay attention to your clients. And another thing that happens when I'm talking to a stylist and they've just raised their prices. I remember doing a meeting one time and going, well, how did it go? They were all going to raise their prices and they were all so nervous about it. I feel for you. I get it. And they all raised their prices and it was nominal even. But when I went back in, I said, so how did it go? Here's what I heard. Oh, well, and one lady complained and said, we were just getting to be too much money. And I'm like, well, how many clients did you do that week? And she's like, well, 50. So 1 out of 50. She goes, well, no, I had that other lady. So 2 out of 50. Like, let's keep this in proportion. If 2 out of 50 clients are complaining that you raised your prices, you're good to go. You know, so don't short sell yourself. You work really hard. And the only people that you are robbing when you don't understand what you're worth and when you're not able to charge your worth, the people you might be helping your community, it's like, well, I can't because the economy is bad, or there's no money, or my people are struggling, their families. Don't you have one? So you're helping them fix their money problems, and your family is suffering for it. It's not right. And so I want you to think about every time you discount what you're worth, you're taking money out of your children's mouth. They don't get to have the good running shoes. Oh, your clients' kids get to have the good running shoes, but you don't get to have the good running shoes. So let's get over that. So on the way, this is a series we're going to be doing about how to become a wealthy stylist. I know lots of wealthy stylists. I know lots of stylists who make really, really good money. And I know more stylists who don't. We want you to be the salon that makes really good money, that charges what you're worth. So next week, we're going to talk about looking like you're worth it. Because if you can get the whole thing going for you, it's a bunch of nuances, then we can get you earning enough money that you should be able to put things away. You should be having a passive income. You should be investing in Bitcoin. You should have a little bit of money on the side working for you, and you're just never going to do it if all you're doing is raising your prices just enough so that, you keep the wolves away from the door. That's it for me today. I'm out of here. Just wanted to pop in and say, hey, you guys, you're worth it. You're geniuses and you're artists, and you need to start behaving like you are and knowing that my biggest frustration, somebody asked me the other day, biggest frustration in my life, in my job, is that I can so easily see the genius in you. Why can't you? Don't you know people who they don't seem to be aware of just how amazing they are? That's what I see. I come into your salons, all I see is opportunity. I look at you, you know so much. I just want to walk around with a mirror and say, you're awesome, amazing, and go be amazing, and know that you're worth every penny that you charge, and that you have enormous value, more than the hair that you cut. There are people in the world that need you, so you got to stay healthy and start eating steak.